We start with overnight news. A busy road in the Northeast Heights is back open this morning after a sheriff's deputy and another vehicle crashed late last night. Investigators tell us just before 11, a Bernalillo County Sheriff's deputy was going west on Academy when a car driving east on Academy pulled out in front of the deputy and made a left turn onto Ventura. That's when the deputy slammed into the other car. Both drivers went to the hospital, but were told they should be okay. Witnesses say both of the drivers had green lights, and it does not look like alcohol was involved in the crash. And happening right now, the man accused of kidnapping a little girl in Albuquerque on Wednesday is still behind bars this morning.
Yeah, he's being held without bond after turning himself in yesterday. News 13's David Romero has been following the story. He is live in downtown Albuquerque with more. David, I think it's safe to say that a lot of parents here are probably very relieved.
That's exactly right, Elizabeth. And David Hernandez is set to make his first appearance here in Metro Court sometime today. Now, Hernandez turned himself into police after seeing his picture splashed on the news. Now, according to police, Hernandez tried to lure a 4-year-old girl into his car at an apartment complex near 12th and Indian School on Wednesday. We talked with the child's mother, Melissa Torres, yesterday. She says her child was out playing with friends when a man drove up, offered her candy, then grabbed the girl by the wrist and pulled her into his car. When other kids told Torres what happened, she took off after the man.
My sister-in-law had a phone. I told her, you call the cops, I'm going. I just said I'm not going to wait at my apartment for them to say we still haven't found her, you know. I'm going to look for that car and follow it.
And Torres chased him for about 7 miles. She eventually smashed into the man's car near Catherine and San Mateo. Turns out her daughter had been pushed out of the car before the chase even started and luckily was not hurt. And when police checked the car, Hernandez's car, after it was abandoned, it was registered to him and his birth certificate was also inside. Elizabeth, back to you.
Okay, David, good to know. Thank you for that update. A check of the 31-year-old's online court records, by the way, shows past arrests for aggravated battery, weapons charges, and shooting from a car.
Well, this morning, there are still plenty of questions about a teacher here in New Mexico who is now banned from the classroom in another state for faking her own daughter's death. So why would a teacher do that, and why is she still teaching? News 13's Alex Goldsmith has the answers.
Zia Managate is now paying back more than 13 grand she didn't earn. The case started in New York City 6 years ago when Managate asked that school district for the rest of the year off in the middle of the school year. According to investigators, she claimed her daughter had died in a car crash in the Philippines, her native country, and she needed the time to go back home and mourn. The district paid her for 5 months she wasn't working, even though she resigned midway through. But Managate wasn't mourning, as she later told the district, because she'd made the whole thing up. Instead, Managate had taken a job at Chaoshkai Community School in Tehachapi near Gallup. The school confirmed she still works there, despite the fact that she's now banned from teaching in New York City for faking her daughter's death. According to New York investigators, Managate claimed she made up the lie because she worried that if she quit, she could have been deported. In the Newsplex, Alex Goldsmith, KRQE News 13.
The school where Zia Managate teaches now is not saying much about her except that it did not know about what happened in New York. The Bureau of Indian Affairs runs the school, not the state. Elizabeth.
Sheriff deputies are looking for the thief or thieves who pulled off a nearly $100,000 heist at an elementary school. It happened at the future home of the new Agua Fria school in Santa Fe. Deputies say someone broke through the fenced construction site that was locked earlier this week. The burglars made off with about $25,000 worth of tools and even stole an $80,000 backhoe. They didn't get very far with a large piece of machinery, though, because of a lock on one of the stabilizers. In fact, that is how deputies were able to track it down.
You could see drag marks going down the street, and I think at that point they pulled over and left the tractor on the road.
Deputies believe the burglars have construction knowledge because those backhoes are not very easy to maneuver. Anyone with information is asked to call the Santa Fe Crime Stoppers line.
36 pairs of designer sunglasses are back where they belong in Santa Fe after investigators say 2 people were caught on camera stealing them. Sheriff's deputies say you can see Daniel McCann and Brittany Faust swiping the shades from this Sunglass Hut kiosk at the Santa Fe Place Mall. It was on Wednesday morning. Well, then about a half hour later, deputies were responding to a domestic dispute at Faust's home when they say they found the glasses and arrested the 2. And take a very good look at this guy because Albuquerque police say he is a murderer and they need your help to find him. He's Dennis Saavedra. He's 30 years old and has a number of tattoos, including that one with a skull on the right side of his neck. Officers say Saavedra has a history of getting into trouble and running from police. If you know where he is, call Crime Stoppers. You can stay anonymous, and you could get a $1,000 reward.
A woman has admitted to stealing more than $140,000 in federal court yesterday. 42-year-old Shelly Nichols of Albuquerque pleaded guilty to cashing fake payroll checks at Walmart stores in New Mexico and 4 other states. The feds say she created driver's licenses with her picture and false names. Nichols then faked checks payable to the names on the licenses and cashed them using stolen Social Security numbers. Nichols faces more than 2 years in prison and must pay back what she stole.
Today's your chance to learn more about keeping teenagers in New Mexico from getting pregnant, especially for a second time. Right now, 1/4 of teens here who have a baby end up having another one within just 2 years. The New Mexico Teen Pregnancy Coalition Conference will talk about that and more today. It's at the Embassy Suites downtown from 8:30 this morning until 4:45 this afternoon. Did a little research this morning, and back in 2010, 3,900 teenagers here in New Mexico had children.
Yeah, it's a lot.